Hey folks, it is December 24th. It is 1:57 in the morning, and I just came home from a reunion with my grade school friends. Yes, grade school. We've been meeting. It's sort of a tradition that we've been doing, I think, for the past 7 years now. To those who are listening who were part of the reunion, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we've been doing this for a while, and I love that we still gather together. These people are the people that I grew up with. They know the tiny little details of me growing up, and I love that we are connected somehow. I mean, we are leading different lives. We are in different seasons and phases of our lives, but I am glad that we are still able to meet, gather, and just talk about what we have been doing, what has happened in the past year since we last saw each other. Yes, we sort of like see each other once or twice in a year. We live in the same city, quote unquote, town, and but life gets in the way, and busy is always an excuse to meet. Lucena is where we live. It's a really small city, and we hardly see each other. That's weird, I know. But you know how sometimes you are very close to your friends, right? Proximity wise, but and yet you still don't get to see each other. That's how we are here in Quezon province. It's a time of the year, once again, when people gather together, and well, this is sort of 50-50 because some people are looking forward to reunions and some are sort of dreading coming or going through reunions. Well, there is a perfectly good reason why some people would dread or veer away from attending reunions, because one, they either had a very traumatic experience from the previous ones, or they simply are not in the mood to socialize and to be asked a ton of questions. Year end is often the time for family reunions, and everyone is taking a break from work. Everyone just want to splurge on their Christmas bonuses on gifts, food, and booze. And with all of these family gatherings will, come in the unnecessary but unavoidable small talk. We're meant to break the ice. Sometimes there are questions that instead of creating or building rapport, it often creates a very cold, hostile environment that would ruin the vibe and the atmosphere of the reunion. So if you're not sure, okay, whether you are one of those who tend to go over the line, perhaps accompanied by the generous amount of booze, well, so here are 5 questions that you shouldn't ask at your upcoming Christmas gathering or any family reunion for that matter. Question number 1 is, where is your significant other? Or are you dating someone? Or where is your boyfriend or girlfriend? Now, we know that is one of the most dreaded questions that anyone, especially the singles, would get. Of course, the most obvious answer to that is, if they're not with someone, or if they didn't bring a +1 to the reunion, is that person isn't here. Okay. And that question is off, because what if someone is going through a breakup, or what if someone is not yet ready to talk about their significant other, or maybe they're not sure whether the family will approve, right? So if they are going through a breakup, announcing that in a reunion could be, a little bit embarrassing. One way to also probably check whether that person is indeed dating, and to avoid asking that question, right, is to probably check on social media. Normally they would post something and you can get a vibe whether they are dating someone, they have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or if they're going through a breakup. So just to be safe, maybe just to be safe, better to steer clear from the questions. Or if you do really need to ask, okay, and they said no, they're not here, or simply no, period. Don't ask any further questions. That means that they're not ready to talk about it, or simply they just don't want to talk about whether they are going through a breakup, they have a significant other, or they are dating. Question number 2, where's my present? Okay, for someone who's celebrating their birthday on the same day as Christmas Day, I don't think I've ever asked someone for where's my present. Or maybe I did, probably I did, but it was more of like a casual line that I threw in and meant to be as a joke. But then, it's a Filipino culture as well that when we go through reunion, sometimes people would, hey, nasa ng regalo ko, or where's my gift? And this can be a little bit annoying, especially if it's being asked by kids. And don't get me wrong, I know everyone, when we talk about Christmas, it's almost as if it equates to kids, right? Or gifts. And but maybe as parents or as adults, maybe it's time for us to explain to our little ones and our kids the reason for the season. And so whether it's thrown more of like a joke, just similar to what I did before, I think this question, where is my present, could come up as a little bit obnoxious and a little bit condescending or demanding. So, whether it's a joke or not, let's try to veer away from this question. Okay. The third one is also one of the most common things that people would hear during the reunion, especially shout out to all married couples out there. Question of when are you having kids, or when are you getting married, for those who are dating. Now, this question, okay, unless you're pregnant or engaged, I don't think this is really a good question or a conversation starter. Come on, guys, we have our own timeline and you don't have a say on that timeline. Okay, only God knows what our timeline is. And I personally have experiences countless of times being asked of when are you getting married? Or maybe you should just have kids without getting married. That's I mean, what the audacity of people asking me to just have kids without even getting married. Or, I would hear friends talk about being in attending a reunion and being married for like 5 years, and then being asked by someone like an elder or a distant relative, oh, okay, you guys have been married for 5 years and you still haven't had kids. When do you intend to have kids? Or the worst is they're being asked, or they were suggesting or recommending all of these treatments and procedure for them to have and conceive. I think that's just below the belt and really crossing the line, because if you're asking someone whether they're pregnant or engaged, it's like the most obvious question to ask. Of course, you can easily tell, right? If someone is pregnant, they could have announced it on social media, posted an ultrasound or anything, or you could have heard it from a distant relative or the closest relative, your like the immediate families, right? Of course, they will announce it to them. Or if they're engaged, that person would have probably shared it with their immediate family as well. So if you didn't hear that from anyone, or if you didn't notice a ring on her finger, or there's a belly or there's a baby bump, then again, it's a little bit disrespectful, and at the same time, a little bit redundant to be asking whether someone is engaged or pregnant. Okay, next one. I've had this questions asked. I've experienced being asked by one of my aunties this question, and normally I would just shake it off, but I've seen it firsthand in some of the reunions that I've attended, when someone is being asked about their weight, or someone would comment about their weight. And when you say, hey, did you put on weight? It's as if it's a direct translation that got fat. And I think there should be an unspoken rule about asking someone about their weight at a reunion, right? It is the holidays, right? This is the perfect opportunity. This is the perfect time, or it grants us like a ticket or a passport or an excuse to eat anything that we want without worrying so much about our weight. So I think it is just, it's similar to the other questions that I've talked about. It's just disrespectful and redundant to be asking about someone's weight or to comment about someone's weight when obviously they did gain weight. Or the fifth question is somehow related to question number 3 and question number 4, when are you having kids, or did you put on weight? The question is, are you pregnant? Of course, it is obvious. When someone put on a little weight, it is the holidays anyway, and you ask that hey, are you pregnant? And that person isn't pregnant, or worse, that person is not even seeing someone, and you ask the question, that is just foul. And it's a festive gathering, and definitely it's not the best place to ask whether someone is pregnant. I think it is, if we use our common sense, right? People who are pregnant, one, you would definitely hear about it. And if someone did put in a little holiday weight, I don't think it's proper to jump into the conclusion that they are pregnant. So these are just top five. I know there's still a lot, but on top of my head, these are the five questions that we should, or that we shouldn't ask at our coming Christmas gathering or any family reunion. The reunion that I had, of course, there are questions like this. And as well, there's another friend who is also single, and we've been asked about the status of our love life countless of times, and I'm kind of used to it, so I know how to divert people's attention and digress and move on to a different topic just to veer away from the relationship status or whether I'm dating or not. I guess that question really gets old for me. I think it's about time that we should focus on other things, because it's not always, I mean, being in a relationship is as if it's a requirement, right? When you attend a reunion, that people would ask you whether where's your significant other, or who are you dating, or are you even dating? I think it's about time that we normalize people coming into the reunion and just being themselves, and being proud that they are still single, being proud that they are childless, being proud that they are in the season where they're trying to decide what career to take, which path to take. I think we should normalize all those things, whether they gain a little weight, whether they look different from how you from the last year. Let's all welcome these changes, because these are changes, and change is good. And you too probably have changed in one way or another for that 12-month gap, and you wouldn't want to be asked these questions, right? Because it can be, yes, a little bit awkward, and will put you in a spot, in a position where you don't know, how do I answer these questions, or how do I respond? So last night it was fun. I think we've reached a point where we're comfortable talking about, hey, I'm not dating anyone, or I'm single, and or no, I don't intend to get married anytime soon. But reunions or year ends is always a good opportunity to catch up and revisit, the things that you have shared the past couple of years, do a retrospective, and just remember the good times. It's also the perfect opportunity to reestablish the relationship and decide on how you move, what's your way forward. Do you intend to stay in touch? What are your plans? Do you have any upcoming, events together, or any activities, vacations even? That's something that we talked about at our reunion last night. And it's good to see how people have evolved throughout the years. And that's what I love about reunions, about gathering people, seeing each other. There's camaraderie, this connection that even though you haven't spoken in months, the bond is still there. And I hope that when you do attend your reunions or your upcoming family gatherings, you would focus on the good things and not really push your questions forward, and more of like quote unquote marites, or quote unquote fishing. I think when we do attend a reunion, we want to be intentional in spending quality time with the people we value, we love, and we want to share life with. So it's a day before Christmas, and I'm really excited to be spending it here in the province. It took me 6 hours the other day to drive home. So if you are still on the road trying to reach home and to be with your family in time for Christmas, be safe, and I hope that you will make it on time. But be safe, because the roads can be very tricky, and traffic. I hope you have a lot of patience to go through traffic. But hey, with the intention of coming home, right? So I'm sure it'll be worth it. So wherever you are right now, whether you're driving, it's 2 in the morning, or you're with the people that you love, or you're busy wrapping your gifts in the middle of the night, or drinking wine, watching Netflix, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I hope that you will celebrate Christmas with the intention of being with family, giving, kindness, gratitude, and most importantly, that we understood the value and the reason for the season, of course, is the birth of Jesus Christ. So thanks everyone for joining me again in this episode of Speaker with Creative. I love doing monologues like this and just doing reflections. When I do this, it's sort of like my own therapy in a way. It gives me an opportunity to voice out my thoughts and to share it with you guys, some of the people who might be in need, and will also, and I'm also hoping that this will allow you to think and to ponder on some of the things that I share here on the podcast. So until then, Merry Christmas, everybody. I hope that you will have a blast celebrating it with your friends and loved ones wherever you may be in the world. P.S. Before I end this episode, I would like to give a shout out to my friends who were at the reunion. I know they are waiting for this. So shout out to Liovin, to Jem, to Choco, to Nelson, to Carol, Princess, Emmy, Madel, and I hope I'm not forgetting Joseph and Edward. So you guys, thank you so much for attending the reunion. I had so much fun with everybody and hope to see you again soon in our next gathering. Ciao.